خاتم الأنبياء المرسلين. In addition to what has been so nicely and warmly expressed, I would like to recount a singular experience I had with Dr. AbdulHamid many years ago, an incident which speaks volumes of the man, drawing attention to one of the many fine qualities we highly respected and admired in him, both as a person and an education professional. I met Dr. AbdulHamid very briefly in September 1979. It was to be the first of many encounters, as later, from 1984 onwards, we met many more times in the US, UK, France, Bosnia, Lebanon, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Malaysia, Turkey, South Africa, and possibly other places. Yet, despite this frequency, we always met in the company of others, and it was only in the mid-1990s the opportunity provided itself to spend some quality time with him, just the two of us only. At the time, I was acting as chief representative of the IIUM in Europe. We had been attending UK meetings with some IIUM students and participating in several other functions. After an exhausting few days in the Midlands, we had our breakfast, attended our last meeting, and headed for London. It was one of those very beautiful spring days when the sun shone warm and we took in the rolling, lush green, vivid yellows of the UK countryside, stopping now and again to take in the beauty as we drove leisurely down the motorway. We had no other engagement in London that day, so we took our time. It was a refreshing change for Dr. AbdulHamid from the mostly tropical forest views of the Malaysian landscape. On the way, we conversed on all manner of subjects of academic, intellectual, and individual interest, even laughing at some Maslawi jokes which he had heard from Dr. Jamal and Dr. Hisham, and which he relished. We discussed the recent academic recruits to the university from Europe, his vision of the new campus, how English became a universal language, Orientalism, popular culture, and Islamophobia, the reading in our teens of detective novels of Arsène Lupin, as well as carpentry. We were both pleased to learn that we shared a passion for carpentry, mine the dabbling of an amateur, but his is that of a skilled craftsman, gaining a professional experience working at his father's shop. Carpentry, as some of you may know, teaches life skills on both micro and macro levels. Patience is essential, and it demands close attention to detail, visualization of the greater project to be realized in the finer points of close design and joinery work, as well as intense focus and deep reflection. One has to be methodical and resilient, selecting the most suitable type of wood and cutting and shaping to exacting standards. There are no shortcuts, and there were no computerized machinery that he grew up having recourse to. These were the talents that Dr. AbdulHamid successfully brought to bear in his career and professional work that defined his administrative skills and the creative, reflective thought. Complementing the theoretical and philosophical with the practical, he always noted, is required for the success of any work leading to civilizational achievements. The journey to London was very enjoyable for our drive, relaxing and delighting in the conversation. I dropped him off at the hotel in Richmond. He was happy and very relaxed, and we agreed to meet over dinner. When I arrived in the evening, I found him in a very different mood. In fact, he was very upset and troubled because he had just learned that an African student had been turned away from the airport in Kuala Lumpur and had been or about to be deported back. His office had not been able to reach us because I did not have a mobile phone at the time, being then one of those anti-new technologies who wanted to avoid being addicted to one. Dr. AbdulHamid's real sorrow and affection for the student really struck me. He felt his plight very deeply and keenly. In this, I was able to witness the depth of his commitment, compassion, concern, and care. The problem of a student was resolved the next day, I am happy to say, but I will always remember Dr. Hamid's reaction. He took responsibility for the plight of someone he had not seen or even heard of before, anxiously discussing throughout dinner his sorrow and regret for the incident. Even though he was not directly responsible, nevertheless, he insisted that the buck stops with him and that he would try to ensure that incidents of this nature would not be allowed to happen again. Meanwhile, I also felt so guilty that I immediately ordered a mobile phone, and today I carry two with the 3 numbers. In any case, the point of this story is to illustrate, as others have done, Dr. AbdulHamid's quality of character, not as an educator only, but as a human being who genuinely cared for and about others. I have worked and dealt with many university presidents and rectors on different levels and in several countries, and I am yet to find one as involved with the well-being of his students to the extent Dr. AbdulHamid really was, as Dr. Ahmed Tutinchi also noted. No wonder he has left a legacy which is imprinted on the hearts and in the minds of thousands of them scattered all over the globe. And he is so deeply missed. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless his soul and reward all his great work and accomplishment. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.